Welcome back to the channel, fellow aviators, to episode 3 of our NeoFly series, a free and better career add-on for Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024. In today's episode, we are going to take a qualification check ride, which should increase the amount of XP we gain and the money we gain per flight that we do. But before we get started, as always, this is the part where I ask for my shameless plug, asking you to like, subscribe, and leave a comment, as it really does help out a small content creator like myself. All right, so in the last episode, if you remember, we did a VOR flight and landed out in San Bernardino Airport, which I will circle right there. I then went to and took another very short job over to Riverside, and then I manually flew, it was only about 2 to 3 miles, over to KRIR. And if we look at the very top there, you see I'm located with my Cessna 152 in RIR, and we have the Bonanza that we've reserved sitting there. And if you remember, we went to the qualifications, and then this was the list of every place you could take in a qualification and the aircraft you can take them in. We just simply selected, and I'll circle it right there, the very top one, the Bonanza, for I think it was like $140, and then it reserved it and placed the aircraft there. If we come to where we manage our flights, you can see we're actually not logged in yet, so it doesn't know where we're at. So the only thing we need to do now is just log in the Bonanza at KRIR, and at that point, we should probably start getting some, I think it will probably get like a start your engines via like the normal checklist. But let me log in and we will take it from there. See you in just a second. Actually, one more thing we need to do before we log in, it's the most important, I almost forgot, is we need to switch our pilot. So as you see here, we're still in the 152, so we're just going to right click on the empty slot here. We'll put ourselves in, and now I can kick you loose as we're now ready to go. All right, everybody, I am back. As you log in, it gives you a notification to go ahead and start the engine, and that's exactly what we're going to do. I don't want to spend a lot of time on this, but if you haven't flown the Bonanza, it is a great aircraft. We're just going to put the mastery and the avionics on. I flew it around a lot in my on-air series, which I will link in the upper right corner. I really enjoy this aircraft. I just haven't flown the glass cockpit stuff in a while, so it actually is supposed to be easier for you, but that's only if you remember how to fly it. Anyways, so we'll just put the master on, the alternator on, and then we'll come down here and make sure the fuel is on. It is. While we're here, we can put the cowl flaps open, and then here we can go ahead and put our mixture, prop, and throttle to the full forward position. Let's just get rid of this to make it easier. Right over here is the fuel pump, a boost pump, so we'll put that on for 1, 2, 3. Shut it off, bring our throttle back, crack it, and then now we are ready to start. Make sure our beacon is on, and let's start up. Okay, so we will start up, and we can, I think at this point now we can put our strobe, our nav, our taxi light on, and that is it for the actual engine start. And since you guys probably don't need to see the taxi, how about I just meet you at the end of the runway as we're getting ready to go. All right, I will see you all in just a few seconds. Okay, folks, I'm back with you. I've done a couple things, hopefully that will help me out. I have set my runway heading. I have put in 1,800 feet, which is about 1,000 feet AGL, and I have selected 100 knots on the airspeed, which is about the best rate of climb in the Bonanza. I've also put in the GPS a return back to RIR here in case we get lost trying to find our way back. And having said that, I think the only thing we need to do now is take off. And we're looking for about 70 knots on the rotation. Right about there. Aft on the yoke. Put us up to the command bars.
We are now in the air. Remember that here at NeoFly, we have to take care of our cargo and passengers. Don't bank or pitch too much for the entire flight. Now, climb to 1,000 feet AGL.
I'm a little bit worried here. We got all this terrain here, so I don't know if I'm allowed to turn. So I'm not sure how we're going to get 1,000 feet as it continues to come up, but we'll see. All right, 17 for about 18.
Now do a U-turn. Remember to watch your bank angle.
And we'll pull back on our power just a little bit. We don't need to continue to accelerate. Matter of fact, we can actually hit our autopilot. And now we can execute a 180 as we are in heady mode. So we're going to come back around to about 240. All right, let's see what happens next. I think we have to do a couple turns.
Now climb to 3,000 feet AGL. Maintain the same heading.
Okay, 3,000 feet, so we can dial that in. So that should be about 3,800 feet. And then we can use vertical speed. It's been a while since I've used the Garmin 1000. I've been doing everything flying with all the steam gauges. Forgot how to move that in there. And as we do that, airspeed's going to start decreasing, so we'll just bring in a little bit of power here. And we can increase that rate to climb a little bit. Let's get up there. Pause that. All right, 28 for 38. So I think the big thing for this is going to be we're going to get a touch and go, and the grading will be on how smoothly I can land. All right, 36 for 38.
Now, fly a complete circle and maintain the exact same altitude.
All right, circle it is. And we'll come to the right.
Now go back to the departure airport. Align with the runway and do a touch and go. A landing vertical speed of more than minus 400 feet per minute will not allow you to pass the qualification.
All right, so we can put in, 1800. We'll do vertical speed, 7800. Pull back on our power just a little bit so we don't accelerate too much, and we will make a 180, and we can just kind of follow this river in the meantime, and then I can probably put it in the GPS if we have any issues. All right, we can hit nav, which will get us directly back to the airport, but we're going to have to probably pull up off course in just a second. All right, I think this could be the hardest part, just picking up the runway. But we've got nav in. We've got our heading. And while we won't be necessarily lined up on the runway, we should be able to make a slight adjustment as we get closer. Let's continue to keep bringing out power. And we're going to keep on descending, because I think we're still a little bit high. How about we just kick the autopilot off, and we'll put in our first notch of flaps. We'll drop our gear. I think that's the runway right over there. Yep, there it is. All right. Don't have a super long runway for this, but all right, about 85 knots looks good for now.
500.
A little bit fast. Let's pull out a little bit more power. So we don't have a lot of runway here. All right, come back on 80 knots, looking good. Just try not to hit the top of the house. I'm just trying to get all the runway I can here. A little bit off. Flaps up. Not going to be sure how that one was.
Well done. You can now fly a traffic pattern and do your final landing.
I don't know about how well done that is. All right. Well, we'll just have to see. And a little bit of hit at the very end here. And I need to probably remove the, I'll do that later. I'd say probably need the flight directors off here. It's giving me erroneous info, but I'll just make my way through it. I haven't flown the 1000 for such a long time. I can't remember where all the buttons are. All right. Once again, kind of come up downwind of beam, first notch of flaps, pull out a little bit of power. All right, gear is still down. Didn't exactly square off this pattern, but I think we'll be okay. Next notch of flaps, start our base turn. All right, don't want to get any slower than 80 knots though. Not on final. Airspeed looks good. And let's see if I can make this one a little bit better.
Well done. Now taxi to parking and shut down your engine.
What a smooth landing.
I think my traffic pattern landing was a little bit better than the first. Darn it. All right, this looks like as good a spot as any. All right, let's see how I did.
Congratulations! You passed your qualification. Have a nice day.
Okay, let's see how we did for our qualification. Ooh, only 2 stars. Darn it. Yep, I thought so. All right, so that is how you do the actual check ride. I may do another one here off camera, see if I can bring it up to 3 stars. I'm totally unhappy with that. All right, this was a nice short episode. We just covered the basics of how to get your qualifications, even if I didn't do it perfectly. And I will catch you all in the next one. I think probably in the intervening, between the next episodes, I'll probably see if I can move us up to the next, or get us pretty close to advancing into our next, what is it, from cadet to second officer. It'll open up some more jobs for us, and we can potentially take a loan out and do some other things. All right. Once again, appreciate all the support, and I will catch you all in the next one. Take care for now. Bye.